Hi guys, this is Joy. I wanted to make a video to help with those that struggle with all of the ups and downs on the ascension path, all of the multi-dimensional expansion and contraction when we're feeling a little bipolar in this process. Now, I usually write about the ascension process, but I thought I'd make a video for those that don't want to do all the reading and hoping that I can help um, in some way make this process a little more um, easier, because it's not an easy process that we're going through here. All right, so I did take some notes so that I can remember what I came here to share, because sometimes I just can't. I'm in my own process as well. And I made this little picture here. I also want to credit the teachings of Bentina Massaro for the context of how I'm going to explain this. So, all right, let me get started here. So this is my little drawing. And I know it doesn't look like it makes any sense right now. But so when we're going along our journey and we're all filled with the love and the light and the synchronicities are everywhere, and we're just in love with everybody and this process, there's going to come a point on our timeline right there. And that's going to be the trigger, okay? And that can be anything from the energies are just so intense and you can't get out of bed and you're miserable because you can't do the things that you used to do. Or it can be you've been overgiving and trying to explain yourself to people that just don't hear you or get this process. It could be you lost your job. It could be somebody broke your heart. It could be a lot of things. So there's going to be a trigger. And then we're going to go over here. Okay, we end up over here where everybody can suck on it. You want to go home. Sometimes this can be the dark night of the soul. You feel like you're dying. Anger can come up. You feel like you're losing your progress or that you're going backwards. And that's not the case. This is how our soul balances itself out. These triggers are created by our own higher consciousness. All right. So it looks like it's personal when it's not. And that's something I think that's really helpful to know, because you can then, when you're over here in this gloomy, doomy, you don't want to be here, you're sick of it, part of this process, you can understand that these triggers are there to teach us about ourselves. And you can use this time for your benefit. Although there's times in this process where you're just going to need to lay in your bad mood until it goes away. And none of us bypass any of this, because this is a consistent part of an ascension process. And I think sometimes in the spiritual communities, we're all very focused on raising our vibration, staying in a high vibration. And that's great, but it's not very balanced in understanding what this process is all about. It's a purification process. The ascension journey is a purification process that goes on forever and ever and ever. So once we're over here for moments, days, weeks, months, it's going to be different for each person and where they're at on their journey. Something will come along to inspire us. Maybe we found some information that uplifted our mood, or we were out in nature and we just feel like we're gaining a renewed sense of energy. And we're thinking more along the lines that we know we're here for a reason and we're going to go get to that reason. So we come back over here for however long we're here. Okay. And I don't need to offer any advice on this, because when you're over on this side of the equation, you don't need advice because you're happy, you're high on light, and you're excited about your journey until the next trigger. And we come over here. Now you see, as we go, let me see if I can do this better. As we go up this pyramid, these spaces get smaller. It's like this. We're becoming more balanced beings, right? You can go back over here, and in the next moment, you're right back on to your high vibration and feeling good about life and the journey and excited about the whole process. Um, Now, when we go back and forth each time, we're integrating light codes and we're assimilating the lessons we just had from the previous experience. And we're really balancing ourselves out. So, one way you can know this for yourself is to look back on your journey, your own journey from, say, a year ago or 2 years ago, and you can see that your peak moment then is not as good as your down moment now. So your valley experience, some call them lows, contraction, they you can gauge your overall expansion. And so the reason I wanted to share this is because we don't really understand that these lows are an overall part of our expansion and they are consistent on this path. And I think that when we know this, we're not going to be judging ourselves or the experience, or we're not going to feel like it's the end of the world. We're going to understand that, okay, I'm not feeling myself right now. Like, what is this experience teaching me? Maybe I just need some rest, or I need to pull away. And one thing that's interesting is when you start understanding what these down moments are for, um, you start to embrace them and almost enjoy them, because this is when you can pull away and you kind of go into like this cave time where it's just self-love, self-nurture. You shut the world out and you're just focused within. And they're they can be enjoyable because they're peaceful. You know, you don't have any of the chaos from the external reality in your face during those times. So you can start to crave them a little too much, which we don't want to go to that extreme either, where we're detached from the collective, because this is a global awakening. So we have to show up for each other. Um, but I just wanted to add that because that does happen where we almost can enjoy these down moments. And we're utilizing them then. Okay, they're working for us. And they are for us, even though they don't feel like it, because none of this on this ascension path is a personal. It's not a personal thing. This is how our soul is deciding to balance us out. And our external reality is data, it's information for us. So if we use that information, we don't have to stay over in the gloomy, doomy side of things very long. We can see that it was providing us with information, or we're clearing out some of our own unconscious from the subconscious mind that gets played out in our realities, showing us what we still hold within ourselves. And this does not mean that we judge ourselves at all, because this is none of our faults. Okay, we were heavily, heavily programmed and imprinted on for eons and eons and eons. So this is about, it's just information, not defining it as something bad, or even defining the good as good, right? Because um, we don't want to marry or attach to either one of the experiences. So, yeah. So it's helpful to include both of these experiences, the highs and the lows, the peaks and the valleys, whatever you want to call them, and understand that both are a part of our overall expansion. Now, the other thing is when we're really wanting to take it easy on ourselves through this process, because we're all going through a deeply profound transformation. This isn't a small thing, okay? This is not, you know, a momentary thing either. This is something that is deeply profound. It happens over years and lifetimes for many of us to get to this point um, of the ascension timeline, where we have been pressurized and pressurized over lifetimes so that we can wake up. And so information in our reality, um, is there to wake us up and continuously wake us up and expand and expand. So this process goes on forever and ever and ever. So it's good to know that these highs and lows, this balancing is going to continue to occur. And when you know it's going to continue to occur, you don't think you've done anything wrong because you haven't. This isn't your fault. This process is about the liberation of an entire planet and the evolution of our species. So it's not a small thing. So take it easy. Lots of love. And I send you big hugs for when you're in those darker times, but just realize that they're a normal part of this process. Goodbye.